Good morning. I'm Dr. Gregg Pizzi, psychologist, relationship therapist, and board-certified sex therapist. It's Tuesday, September 29th, 2020. Welcome to the 16th episode of my livecast here on PizziPSYC on Facebook and on YouTube. Welcome. Today we will be talking about our four-legged furry friends, and I have as a guest today on my program Adnan Ayoub, family nurse practitioner, also starring Francis, and newest addition to the family, Calixto Antonio. Welcome again, and those of you who have four-legged friends, please feel free to share, comment, and send us your pictures, and the website for you to send in your photos, your videos, is www.PizziPSYC.com, as spelled below. Welcome again, and I'd like to ask all of you who are joining us right now to comment, say hello, and let us know that you are here, because if I don't see your comments, then, I don't know that you guys are on, and I really appreciate your support. So, we're almost here at the end of September. Fall is upon us, and for those of you who have four-legged animals, you know what I'm saying when I say that they really are a member of the family. We're going to talk about the mental health and physical benefit, and the medical benefits as well to your physical and emotional health of pets. Good morning, Kim. Thank you so much. Yes, dogs, and more dogs. Hi, Leaner. Good morning. Yeah, this puppy is adorable. However, as you can imagine, I am currently living my life up to here in pee and poop. But it's all part of the process. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Desma. Good morning. Jessica, thank you. Welcome, everybody. So, most of us are familiar with some of the emotional and psychological benefits of animals. They get us out of our comfort zone. They force us to be social. For people who are struggling with depression and anxiety, it's well known how animals help us kind of be more social, get out of ourselves and our self-focus. They make us take them out for walks, which makes us more social and gets us out of our routine. They're also known to, to help people with loneliness, of course. That's why people rely so much on animals, because as human beings, we're social creatures, and so are animals. Dogs are pack animals, so we feel connected and the animals feel connected to us. Good morning, John. Thank you so much. Can't wait for you to meet Calixto in person. And where is Sebas? Good morning to Sebastian as well. Okay, so while the emotional benefits of animals are kind of more well known, what people don't understand is that there are a lot of physical and medical advantages to having a pet. So I'm going to ask Adnan, who is a family nurse practitioner here in Miami, to talk a little bit about what are some of the maybe not so well-known and well-known medical benefits of having an animal in the home.
Well, good morning, everyone. I have to put Francis down.
He's heavier than this one, that's for sure.
Yes. I was a non-believer with animals. I do love animals, and I learned, thanks to Francis, I learned, much more about human connection with animals and how we can, body language taught me how to learn body language from the animal, applying it for human as well, which is like, they call it like the sixth sense. Now, when you talk about the benefit, one of the benefit, which is psychologically, is a person is less likely to commit suicide when they have a loved ones to care for. For instance, if a mom or a dad, they're taking care of their child, it's less likely they would commit suicide. Same thing with a pet. that could help prolong life and could help people with depression, like Dr. Pizzi said. Other great benefits are, let's put an example, a lonely person or an elderly person, that having a pet, a dog and a cat, could give them a reason to live. And I'm saying that because many times when families separate or the kids get older, husband dies or the wife dies, companionship becomes more the animal that is there. They have a reason to wake up.
Filling a void.
Yeah, and not only that, they have a reason to wake up. They have a reason to change, not diaper, but
responsibility.
Change the food, give them food, take them for a walk, go to the supermarket and just buy them food, because human nature, they're willing to sacrifice themselves, but when it comes to their pet, they don't. And I've seen this in person, that I work in a amazing healthcare center, and you see patients are not willing to pay $10 for a care to see them, but then you would see same patient paying $100 or $200 for a visit to a vet. So that
People
shows,
are often more willing to do for others than for themselves, and that
Absolutely.
includes an animal.
Absolutely.
What about blood pressure? How do animals affect blood pressure and other chronic medical conditions, Adnan?
It has been proven that it reduces blood pressure, anxiety, and that's why a lot of time people are using their pets for, for companionship, for anxiety, for having a pet prolongs life. It has been proven, and let's say you're having a stressful
So is
day.
being married also prolongs life?
Well,
You can be
well,
married to a person or an animal, right?
Well, hopefully you're not married to an animal, but you can adopt an
I
animal.
am. I am. And now let's talk a little bit about the difference between emotional support animals and service animals. Now, people often get these confused, right, Adnan? So emotional support animals are, oh, Kim, very funny. You don't need to take them to therapy. The animals don't need therapy. Very good. That's right. People are more, that's yeah, I definitely make my money off of people, not dogs.
Well,
But
Kimberly, there has been psychologists for animals, just for
that's
for
true.
an update.
That's true. That's
There
true.
has
And they
been-
also take anti-anxiety medications, dogs as well. But for the most part, they don't participate in relationship therapy. So emotional support animals are animals that are often part of a person's treatment plan. A person who is undergoing mental health treatment, psychotherapy, or some other kind of, for emotional well-being, and the animal is prescribed as part of the treatment for the person, that it relieves symptoms or allows them to function better. That's an emotional support animal. Now, can you say a little bit about a service animal, which is designed and intended to assist a person with a disability, that it's
Correct.
trained to perform a task?
Correct. Like a great example is like when a blind person having a service animal that could guide them and help them, let's say, cross the street, or if there's something dangerous, can alert the patient. Now with the service animal, it's a totally different spectrum in how a patient uses the animal versus a support animal. I truly believe people are overly abusing that hinders and really affect the people that really need the dogs or the animal for task, for getting the newspaper, for dogs that will alert if someone will have a seizure, you know, and that hinders these because then a lot of people who don't know the difference would say, you know, you're not allowed to bring a dog, and it takes the value of what's important and the use of the animal versus the support system. And I do disagree in some way because we don't have to be 100% supportive of an animal just to be able to go somewhere. We have to learn how to be alone sometimes. We do need to learn how to not be with.
Well, dogs
It's a
teach us.
codependent.
Dogs teach us a lot as well in terms of being independent, don't they? Like
Yes.
we can learn a lot from them with regard to how they handle life situations. Like, for example, how a dog responds to a disappointment. Those of us who have dogs, we see how a dog handles disappointment, like wants the treat really bad or wants to go in the car and then can't go in the car at the last minute, is told no. Look at how the dog handles it. Like the dog doesn't get all bent out of shape and upset and depressed for hours and days. Like I don't know. I know when I'm told no, I'm not happy. As people, when we don't get what we want, we make up a huge story about what that means and what our worth is. The dog's like, all right, that sucks, but life goes on. You know, the dog just comes back wagging its tail. So, like, you know,
We can
you've
learn,
seen how
but-
that people learn how to take it, maybe
We
like
can
not
learn-
take life so seriously.
Correct. But you know, as human, we have to take life seriously, and we do react as humans. But what you're saying is sometimes if we imitate the dog in some way, we would be even a little bit happier. Is that what you're saying?
Like I was responding to Lena, who said that her mom tends to be sleeping in too much. Maybe she's depressed. You know, like somebody who sleeps in the morning, as you're saying, Lena. Maybe she's depressed or doesn't have much to motivate her to get up to get up in the morning. But dogs are great for for all these things that we're talking about. But remember, don't just get somebody a dog. Don't just give somebody a dog that doesn't want the dog. You know, a person has to understand what that responsibility is and really express a desire to have a dog and to go through that commitment. You know, you don't just want to get someone a dog, although it's, you know, a beautiful gift. You know, you got to be careful that the person wants it, you know. So,
But
and,
if she's, you know,
oh,
in
I'm
some way-
sorry. I'm sorry about your dad, Lena. Okay, so your dad's gone, and I don't know. Talk to your mom. Sit down and talk to her about it and see what she thinks. It might be a nice thing for you guys to go as a family to get, you know, a dog that is going to be like a part of the family. You know, and some people feel like we shouldn't jump into pets or dogs when someone passes away because it's like we're not dealing or not grieving. But you know, it's not like we're denying the meaning of that person when we have an animal around. They really meet a purpose, you know.
But at the same time, when you are forced to take care of the animal, you just get up and you just have to do it. Like, for instance, farmers, you know, they don't have sick days. They have to get up, feed their animals, clean around. They have to do their service. Same thing with a pet. You have to get up. You have to take responsibility, and that per self,
And-
it does help
and
the patient. It
Once you
helps-
get up, once you get going, even though you don't want to, the dog makes you. So then once you're up, you feel better.
Yeah, it's like
Right?
religion as well. You know, I'm not a religious person. I'm a very spiritual person. But the fact that an elderly person could wake up and start praying, and her concern is, oh my God, at this time I have to pray, I have to go to church, I have to. That keeps a reason to live. There is a task to do, and human needs that. Human needs to be needed, needs to be wanted, needs to
Yeah.
be important. And if you lose these essence, then there's it doesn't give hope or reason to live for
Well,
so many
well,
people.
John is just said that his dog, is it a Pomeranian, John? I think.
Your dog
Sebas?
is biting
I
me.
think Sebas. I know his teeth are getting sharper and sharper. They're like needles, believe it
Don't
or
bite
not.
me.
He's only 5 or 6 pounds, but those teeth are like needles. John is saying that his dog helps with his own anxiety because he becomes focused on the dog's well-being, like throughout the day. Like, is the dog okay? Is the dog, walking right, feeling good? And it kind of takes us out of ourselves and being obsessed with ourselves.
But at the same time, you should not be worried so much of the dog, because at the end of the day, they're animal. They can survive by themselves. They have, like Francis, for instance, had a stroke, and I'll tell you, if he was human, he would not have recuperated. It would have taken him
Right.
months. to
Because he would be
recuperate.
all in his head about what's wrong with
It's
me.
not only that.
I'm
they
a
have the
loser.
instinct. No, not only that. The animals have the instinct of survival that if they are still sick, they can be eaten or they can be killed.
Yeah.
So
They don't take life so deeply as we do with all the meaning we assign to it. The dog just gets better and moves on.
have to
we
get
don't
better.
They don't have all this story. They have to
get
by
better
survival.
to survive.
Right?
If they
Because
don't, they don't survive.
they know that if they don't get better quick, then they're going to be a meal for
And that's-
another dog.
And that's a learning that we like when you're saying learning.
Hi, Luis.
From the dogs and animals. That is a learning.
Okay. So, Kim, they can be very needy. That's true. They're very dependent on us. And it gets to the point where sometimes they're overly codependent. And, I don't know, just like a human relationship, you got to set limits, I think. Like I set limits with my four-legged relationships and in my two-legged relationships. And it's not easy, because we love them. And as you were just saying, Adnan, it's very important. We assign human characteristics to the dog's mental state. While they're very warm and loving and they have emotions, they don't go through the thinking processes that we do of worry, like, am I happy? Is the dog okay? Is the dog missing me? Is the dog lonely? The dogs miss us and they want us around, but the minute we leave, they're fine. They're not thinking, oh, why is he leaving me here alone so long? Like, when is he coming back? Why is he not with me?
A perfect example is like when they amputate one leg of a dog. The dog wakes up and the first thing he does is he wants to run, he wants to do wherever he has to do. He has no pain in the leg they amputated and lives life like nothing have happened. And there is another.
I want to give a shout out to Jessica, my top fan. Jessica is Francis' mom. We didn't have enough room here in my huge studio to bring Jessica on, but she's going to be coming on in a future episode. Jessica is my
She's
dear
an amazing
friend,
mom.
an amazing, beautiful person. She's one of my top fans, as you guys can see in the chat right there. Jessica Rio, top fan. Francis, where'd he go? Oh, he fell asleep. He's old, but Jessica has done an amazing job. You gonna get him? You gonna get him? Oh,
Francis?
yeah, get him real quick because we're going to wrap up in a minute. Jessica, you've done a great job taking care of Francis, who I have had for over 13 years, and you've really helped me a lot with him. And look at this beautiful dog. Guys, can you believe that this dog is 13 and a half? Look at this dog. Lift him up. He is the most beautiful thing, and an amazing miracle that he is recovered from a stroke that he had last week. Just could barely walk, was falling down. Anyway, anything else, Adnan, that we should leave, that you want to leave people with about pets and animals?
Love your pets, but love yourself more.
Yeah, and people. Let's not forget about people.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your support. It means a lot to me. Please follow and subscribe on YouTube and on Facebook here. PizziPSYC, the spelling is below, and that's my website. It's been a pleasure and a privilege, Adnan. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Calixto is getting a little cranky, and I'm afraid he's about to do number 1 or number 2. I don't know, or both on me at the moment. So we're going to sign off right now. And thank you guys. Have a wonderful day and a great week. I appreciate all your support. Bye-bye.